Okay, so I'm going to make people very uncomfortable with this post. So if you don't like hearing about things that most religions and Christianity especially would like to hide in the dirty closet, you might want to keep scrolling. So I don't know how long ago, I made a comment on this post because this woman started putting her child, who, at a very young age, at the age of like 3, started having some severe psychiatric problems. So they started medicating her and et cetera, to the point where she institutionalized her daughter by the time she was 9, and basically blames her daughter's behavior on some kind of magical genetic thing that just made the child naturally born evil. And I know there's a lot of teachings out there in Western patriarch society and cultures that would like to propagate the narrative that children can be born naturally evil. But it's not true. If you study the science, the brain, behavior, children are not born evil. Occasionally, maybe there might be the odd child born with a neurological anomaly that makes them unique, but they're not born evil. They may not understand compassion if they're born neurologically different. They might have to learn it differently. You might even find someone who has the inability to feel compassion or emotions to the same level as somebody else. That does not mean they'll never be able to feel emotion, because our brain is very plastic. And I would argue that if experiments stop treating all these differences in the brain as bad things, like as if Mother Nature and evolution is fucking up constantly, and that these are all detriments, these changes, and actually start questioning how they potentially evolve human brain function into a better state. What would happen instead of blocking all these neurotransmitters, or blocking the receptors, for the neurotransmitters, instead of blocking them, what if we just gave the brain what it really wants? More dopamine and serotonin, because that's what it's asking for. If it has more receptors, it wants more of it. What happened? And I know everyone's like, oh, well, mania, delusions. Is it delusions, though? Is it? Anyways, this is where things are going to get uncomfortable. My youngest, and I'm bringing up my youngest because I can tell you this regarding my oldest as well, and even my son, but my youngest is the most forefront in my mind, because when she was little, when she was first born, she was fire and love all in one. Like, she lived up to her name, Freya, to perfectly. Like, she didn't understand. I mean, she was a baby. She wouldn't understand that smacking hurt, right? So she'd come up and she'd smack your face and cackle hilariously and then hug you and kiss you. She was adorable. Suddenly, around the age of 2.5, she stopped being adorable. This is when a lot of pedophilia teachings I've learned through talking to people, is when they start teaching that that's of an age where you can start doing things with children. So around the age of 2.5, she suddenly, out of nowhere, didn't want me to hold her anymore, didn't want hugs, didn't want to cuddle. She started to laugh a lot less. Then she started to become extremely, out of nowhere, aggressive and violent. And I mean, she always had a little bit of aggression, and maybe she had my ADHD, right? Because she kind of would get a little overreactive sometimes, but it was easy to calm her down, and as long as we were outside doing activities, and she never wanted to hurt anybody. But when a small child is constantly being abused by somebody they had originally trusted, and then things happen to them to stop them from feeling safe enough to tell the safe parent, or they're in a home, in this case, that doesn't have a safe parent. Not my case, I mean the case where the woman is institutionalizing her daughter. Your only option is to fight. There is no flight. When you realize that your option is fight or get hurt, you're gonna fucking fight. Unless, of course, you grew up in a home like I did, and any kind of retaliation just made things go way fucking worse. There's a lot of us who survived that. I never wanted my daughter's fire to die, so I was very conscientious of how I addressed her behavior until I started losing control of my ability to emotionally regulate as well. I mean, I still had a little bit in the beginning when she was born, and then slowly, probably because of everything that they were doing to try to hide it, I started to go, I felt like I was going crazy. I basically was living on autopilot. But the point is that if I had taken that little girl to the doctor, instead of asking why she suddenly started changing her behavior, why suddenly she started getting angry and violent, and why she suddenly went from happy and loving to hating the world, if I hadn't asked why, if I had just held her at the age of 2 or 3 accountable for her emotional reactions to what was happening to her, she'd probably be on medication right now at the age of 6. She'd probably have a lot more freaking problems. A lot more. And my children would not have learned how to be compassionate to somebody who's struggling after being severely traumatized. We all have to have compassion for each other in this house. If we've learned anything, we've learned how to accept each other where we are as we are. Sometimes words get said, but we don't really hold on to that. It's a good thing we all have short memories. But yeah, if you see a small child under the age of 8 acting in a way that seems inhuman, instead of saying it's the child's fault, you need to ask why. 1 in 3 children are SA'd before the age of 12. I'm gonna guarantee you that that little girl who's on medication, who's been institutionalized, inside of her soul probably hurts so bad because she doesn't understand why nobody loves her. Why she's getting hurt and then getting punished for being hurt. And then their mother's abandoning them. And the system is propagating this shit. It's propagating the narratives for this. It's not just stealing your children, it's creating an atmosphere that is encouraging parents to hold their children accountable when that's not only not right, but not even a practical thing to do considering the neurological development of children. They don't have the capacity to be responsible for their actions at that age. And drugs and psychological assessments aren't always the answer. Sometimes it's love. And one person to ask the question, why? We need more people asking questions. We need more people telling their stories. Too many people judge. They don't fucking have a clue. 1 in 3. You walk into your family reunion and there's 10, 12 people. Yeah. 4 of them are probably SA'd, if not were SA'd, have been SA'd as a child. Think about that. Become aware of that. Realize the patriarch system is ruining people from childhood up because it wants you stuck in the system. And if you're broken or soulless, or if it starts ruining your soul from the time you're born, making you think love is not a possibility, creates that sense of hopelessness, defeatism, that's what it's doing. That's what it wants. It wants you to grow up having no hope, because then you'll feed it energy. You'll be stuck in it forever, repeating on loops. It needs to stop, guys. Do you understand? If we want our children to have a better life, it has to stop. Otherwise, children are going to be institutionalized without mothers. Might as well just let them grow in fucking test tubes. Anyways, sorry for the downer thoughts, but it really bothers me. I hope you guys have a great day anyways. Okay, bye.